Verbal or life.
It's been such a long time we've seen a president do a press conference and ask questions and answer questions. Donald Trump went ahead and did that yesterday, and the internet went wild. Let's take a look what they're saying out in the streets. Welcome to Verbal Online. My name is Noel, battling MS, and I'm just shocked what was going on. And I wanted to see this episode talking about Donald Trump Mar-a-Lago press conference. Let's take a look. Oh yeah, if you haven't hit that like button, go ahead and press it.
Welcome to Jesse Waters Primetime tonight.
She won't even do interviews with friendly people. And the reason she doesn't is, number one, her policies are so bad. It's really ultimately not about her as much as about her policies.
Trump's talking while Harris is still hiding.
Remember that one big thing she did? Me neither, okay?
Confident that there will be a peaceful transfer of power in January 2025.
If Trump wins, no, I'm not confident at all. I mean, if Trump loses, I'm not confident at all.
Democrats promise election violence.
We need bodyguards for everybody in Civil War conditions.
Plus,
what is Kamala's plan for the future? I don't know, but that's her job, not mine.
Donald Trump held an hour-long press conference in Mar-a-Lago this afternoon, announcing he's agreed with 3 different networks to do 3 debates in September.
I think it's very important to have debates, and we've agreed with Fox on a date of September 4th. We've agreed with NBC, fairly full agreement, subject to them, on September 10th. And we've agreed with ABC on September 25th. The other side has to agree to the terms. They may or may not agree. I don't know if they're going to agree. She hasn't done an interview. She can't do an interview. She's barely competent, and she can't do an interview. But I look forward to the debates because I think we have to set the record straight.
The debate on Fox would be first, but everyone's still waiting to hear from Harris. Kamala hasn't done an interview since June. It's now August. And after being shamed for hiding from the media, they forced her down the stairs of Air Force Two. Watch.
President Trump had a press conference today. He talked about a lot of things. What if you have a reaction to what he talked about?
Well, I'm glad that he's finally agreed to a debate on September 10th. I'm looking forward to it, and hope he shows up.
Are you open to more debates?
I'm happy to have that conversation about an additional debate for after September 10th.
After September 10th. The man wants to have one September 5th, the 10th, and the 25th. And look what she's talking about after the 10th. Because she knows she's going to collapse.
For sure. He proposed two more debates. Like I said, happy to have that conversation.
Kamala's seen Trump end people's political careers on the debate stage, and she's never participated in a presidential debate before. Trump's done 6. So she might be pretending to have the upper hand. I hope he shows up. Come on. She's terrified, and the ball's in her court. The networks and Trump have agreed to 3. She's agreed to 1. And if she finally comes to terms, the Fox debate would be first, right after Labor Day. That would give her 2 whole weeks after her convention to prepare. That's a lot longer than Biden had to prepare. And we saw what happened there. The Fox debate on September 4th would be before early voting starts. I know it's ridiculous to have 2 months of early voting, and the Republicans better have their act together. But shouldn't the country see these 2 square off before we cast a ballot? Kamala wants to wait as long as possible to debate Trump, because that debate could officially end the honeymoon.
What if this so-called honeymoon period doesn't end?
Oh, it's going to end. The honeymoon period's going to end. Look, she's got a little period. She's got a convention coming up. It's about policy. It's not about her. I think she's incompetent. Because I've watched her. She destroyed California. She destroyed San Francisco. Everything.
You know, that's one of the problems that Trump has, that he's brutally honest. He puts it out there. And people just want him to shut up and let the incompetence go through. People will see it. He doesn't have to say it.
She's touched, has turned to bad things. I'm not going to use foul language. But everything she's touched has turned bad.
Turns to shit. He's not going to use foul language. But yeah, he got to just calm it down and be more presidential. Like the fact that she's weak, it's just gonna come off straight without him saying it. Other people are gonna say it. The newscasters are gonna say it. They're the one they're gonna be pointing it out. So he doesn't have to.
She's incompetent. She won't even do interviews with friendly people because she can't do better than Biden. She doesn't want to do interviews. And the reason she doesn't is, number one, her policies are so bad. Just to answer your question, I think that it's not going to change because it's really ultimately not about her as much as about her policies. She wants open borders. She wants to defund the police. She wants to defund the police. She wants to take away your guns.
I liked hearing it's not about her, it's about her policy. I like that. The more personal it gets, the more she plays the victim and keeps the focus off substance.
Exactly. She wants to play the victim. Trump is a mean dude. That's all she wants to do. But let's talk policy. Great.
Kamala isn't Hillary. She's not tough. She doesn't know anything about anything, especially policy. And she's being protected like it's her first day of kindergarten. Instead of shredding her, Trump would just be better served petting her on the head. Oh, poor Kamala. This election isn't about hatred, at least not on the right.
Nope.
This election is about you.
Do you think Kamala Harris is worse than President Biden? I know you said you think you're very.
No, I think she's actually not as smart as he is.
Well, you said you think you're very far.
I don't
ahead
think
in
he's
the
very
polls.
smart either, by the way. I'm not a big fan of his brain, but I think that she's actually not as smart as he is.
So what do you?
Again, being brutal against Kamala. People take it to the heart, but he's honest.
Attribute her rising in the polls as becoming a more competitive race since she's taken over for Biden?
She's a woman. She represents certain groups of people, but I will say this. When people find out about her, I think she'll be much less. I see it right now. I see her going way down in the polls now. Now that people are finding out that she destroyed San Francisco, she destroyed the state of California along with Governor Gavin Newsom.
That's why we need more news agencies and now social media pointing it out, letting people know about this. Those who don't know, the state of California, which was destroyed under her.
Polls have suggested. There are some polls that say we're going to win in a landslide. People are voting with their stomachs, meaning they're going to the grocery store. They're paying 50, 60, 70% more for food than they did just a couple of years ago.
Vote with your stomach. Kamala is not Joe Biden. And yes, Kamala's a woman. And there's excitement around that. You should see my mom. Suddenly she's a Kamala fanatic. Keeps talking about joy. Trump kept one dangerous woman out of the White House, and he can do it again. This country's thirsty for leadership after 4 years of Joe. And Hideaway Harris isn't going to fly. There's only so much bamboozling voters can tolerate, especially after the cover-up and now the bait and switch. And you can sense in the room today, the press, thrilled they could justify their paychecks. Kamala Harris hasn't held a press conference since 2023.
That was funny. Justify their paychecks. They're getting paid, but they never get a news conference with the president. Like Biden never did this. Kamala never did this. Trump is the only one brave enough to stand up in front of the news media, pros and cons, enemies and foes, and just go at it with them. This is unusual, and we got to admit it.
And that wasn't even in America. It was in Dubai. So Trump got the gang back together. Room was packed. To use the left's logo, this is what democracy looks like. Freedom of the press, freedom of speech, live exchanges of ideas without censorship, voters listening to a man vying to represent them and serve them, unscripted, without cheat sheets and teleprompters. The media misses Trump. The relationship between the press and the politicians is supposed to be tense and challenging. With Biden and Kamala, it's flaccid and corrupt. Everybody knows it. They were even up to their old tricks again.
There's been some discussion around Vice President Harris's relationship with Willie Brown, the former mayor of San Francisco, and how that might have intersected with her career trajectory. So I'm just wondering if you followed that discussion at all and had thoughts.
Now, Willie Brown, this is the one time that Donald Trump said something that went viral again. They're saying that he never met Willie Brown, that he never got in the helicopter, and nobody knows why Trump did this or said this. So right now, I'm just expecting Trump to come back out again and explain himself. What does he mean he hung out with Willie Brown? Check it out.
Well, I know Willie Brown very well. In fact, I went down in a helicopter with him. We thought maybe this is the end. I haven't seen him in years. But he told me.
So he got it mixed up. I don't think he's talking about the correct Willie Brown. And I want to do another video on it because Trump rarely makes mistakes like this, but we're confusing two gentlemen by the name of Willie Brown in my thought.
Terrible things about her, but this is what you're telling me anyway, I guess. But he had a big part in what happened with Kamala. But he I don't know, maybe he's changed his tune, but he was not a fan of hers very much at that point.
Trump didn't take the Willie Brown bait. That's disciplined. He was asked again about Kamala's racial heritage, didn't take the bait, disciplined. He was asked about abortion, disciplined. The press finally did get under his skin, of course, when they asked about crowd sizes.
Are you worried at all about the size of Harris's crowds?
Oh, give me a break. Listen, I had 107,000 people in New Jersey. You didn't report it. I'm so glad you asked. What did she have yesterday? 2,000 people? If I ever had 2,000 people, you'd say my campaign is finished. It's so dishonest, the press. When she gets 1,500 people, and I saw it yesterday on ABC, which they said, oh, the crowd was so big. I have 10 times, 20 times, 30 times the crowd size. And no, they never say the crowd was big. That's why I'm always saying, turn around the cameras. I'm so glad you asked it. I think it's so terrible when you say, well, she has 1,500 people, 1,000 people, and they talk about, oh, the enthusiasm. Let me tell you, we have the enthusiasm.
In the last week, Trump's done a rally, Fox and Friends, radio, podcasts. Today, he held an hour-long news conference, and the media accused him of laziness.
We have not had a public campaign event for nearly a week now. Tomorrow you'll be in Montana, which is not a swing state. Some of your allies have expressed concern that you're not taking this very seriously, particularly at a time where they're...
Again, Trump being super honest. He just said it. What a stupid question. And that's the beauty about Donald Trump, that he really says what's on his mind. Now check out why he's called it a stupid question. This man is a genius.
Enthusiasm on the other side. Why haven't you been campaigning this week?
Because I'm leading by a lot and because I'm letting their convention go through. And I am campaigning a lot. I'm doing tremendous amounts of taping here. We have commercials that are at a level I don't think that anybody's ever done before. Plus, in certain cases, I see many of you in the room where I'm speaking to you on phones, I'm speaking to radio, I'm speaking to television. Television's coming over here. Excuse me, what are we doing right now?
Exactly.
She's not doing any news conference. You know why she's not doing it? Because she can't do a news conference. She doesn't know how to do a news conference. She's not smart enough to do a news conference. And I'm sorry, we need smart people to lead this country because our country's never been in this danger before.
Why isn't anybody asking Kamala questions like that? Today was the first time she took questions from a reporter since Biden's debate. And the questions weren't, why are you so afraid of reporters? Where have you been hiding? Why did you cover up Joe's condition? Why did you change all your positions? All they asked her is, what'd you think of Trump? The one question they did ask her about her running mate's stolen valor, she dodged.
Some of the criticism has been about your vice presidential pick and his leading the National Guard at 24 years. Vance said that he deserted his own troops or his own colleagues. What's your take on that?
Listen, I praise anyone who has presented themselves to serve our country. And I think that we all should.
Okay, 6 seconds. On to the next question. Kamala answers questions like that, 1, 2 sentences, then goes to the next question. I'd love to see her do an hour, but the press doesn't, and neither do Democrat voters. Democrat voters aren't interested in what she believes, besides abortion and winning. That's it. Kamala World says they're deeply skeptical that any televised or print interviews offer much real upside for Harris. Because why run a real campaign when you can run a fake one and the media lets you get away with it? The media isn't demanding an interview now because they're in on the 90-day cover-up. Semaphore reports that Harris has been talking with her traveling press off the record. One reason that you haven't seen as much media grumbling about access, the outlets paying for the plane are getting FaceTime. So the media's in on the Kamala cover-up. I thought Kamala was a tough prosecutor. that smashed through glass ceilings and calls Joe Biden racist to his face. Where'd that little girl go?
You know, this worked for Biden. He was hiding the last 90 days of the election and won. Let's see if this works with Kamala. And hopefully with all the pressure coming from left, right, from everywhere, she won't do it. You know, they'll make her come out and do an hour-long rally, just like the one Trump did. Shout out to Kai Cenat, who rejected meeting her. Supposedly, suggestively, or...
Sometimes people will open the door for you and leave it open. Sometimes they won't. And then you need to kick that door down.
Like, is that presidential? She just said a bad word. What time are we living in when you're talking like that? Like you're talking on the streets. I don't even know what she said. I mean, I have an idea, but comment below. What do you think?
As a woman, there's a balance to be struck between being tough and being a bitch.
Again, why is she swearing? How unprofessional are you? You're supposed to be a role model to everybody in the country, to the world. It comes with the job for you to hold your tongue in public. Talk like that among your friends in private, but don't bring it out to the public.
If you got something to say it to my face.
If you want to be a girl boss, do you really want to be treated like a little girl? Because that's how we're treating Kamala. She's supposed to be the first female president. Do women want the first female president to be protected like a kid in a car seat, carried around, pampered, swaddled? Nobody's letting her out of her crib because they're afraid she might hurt herself.
It's like the next 4 years, if she becomes president or Kamala, it's just going to be us protecting everything she says and make sure we watch out and bleep everything that she said that doesn't make sense. And then it's us taking care of her, not her taking care of anybody else.
That's not how we treated Hillary. Hillary stood on her own 2 feet. Sure, Hillary got good press. She's a Democrat, of course, but she wasn't babied like Harris. If I were Harris, I'd be embarrassed. They're saying she didn't choose Shapiro because she didn't want him to upstage her. She chose Walz instead because he made her feel safe and warm and comfortable and promised not to run for president later. What is Walz? Kamala's cuddly stuffed animal? J.D. Vance strolled over to her tarmac, gave her traveling press corps jazz for helping her hide, and it worked.
You know what? And shout out to J.D. Vance, because the other vice president that Trump had didn't know how to talk. He was just a figurehead, or you see him quietly staring. He's just a white guy just staring into the sky, lost. But not J.D. Vance. I got to give him props because he just shows up and talks pretty good.
Smoked her out of her little hole today. And here's how the media covered it. Watch.
She's also got this stalker going around from city to city like a hangdog ex-husband trying to find her. So I trust the Secret Service, but I'm glad that she's got Tim Walz there too. He's on it.
Yeah, it is so weird, Lindsay. It is so weird that like Trump is playing golf somewhere while JD Vance is like stalking the vice president and saying weird stuff to reporters. Like he's not helping to make it himself not seem weird.
Is Walz her running mate or her security blanket?
Another one of their words, weird.
I mean, if anyone gets near Harris, they're a stalker. This is not high school, ladies. This is the great American Republic. She's not a woman at a bar. She's running to be the leader of the free world. But first you can't talk to Kamala, and now you can't go near her. She's not a princess. Trump's not running against Meghan Markle. They sent De Niro out to troll Trump at the courthouse. No one called him a stalker. We just called him crazy. And I love Bobby's movies. That's about it. Kamala's afraid of Fox, afraid of J.D. Vance at the airport, and now she's afraid of sitting down for an interview. She's probably afraid of spiders. The media is treating Kamala like she's vulnerable and needs protection because she does. She's on a tight leash. They make her read the same speech twice in a row. Watch this.
It really is good to be back in Wisconsin. It is so good to be back in Michigan. Listen, let me tell you, I am clear. The path to the White House runs right through this state. And listen, I am clear. The path to the White House runs right through this state. I took on perpetrators of all kinds. I took on perpetrators of all kinds and had a summer job at McDonald's. I had a summer job at McDonald's. So hear me when I say, so hear me, Detroit, when I say, I know Donald Trump's type. I know Donald Trump's type. And are we ready to fight for it? And are we ready to fight for it? And when we fight, we win.
Kamala's plagiarizing herself and Trump. I thought fight, fight, fight was his line. Former White House Press Secretary Kayleigh McEnany.
That is creepy.
And he's here. Kayleigh, how did you think Trump did today at Mar-a-Lago?
I thought he did a great job, and here's why. They have a concerted pressure campaign on the Trump campaign, and it was brilliantly played. It began with J.D. Vance, top of the week, issuing a count up every day that Kamala didn't take questions. Then he took questions, J.D. Vance, 3 times in 24 hours. Then, as you noted, he walked over to Kamala's plane, and then came the closer, who you were just looking at. Donald J. Trump came in to hammer home the message. They began the day with Kamala's team telling Politico Playbook, we may not do an interview until Labor Day, until after Labor Day. We're getting out just the message we want. What's the payoff to taking questions? Well, the day ended with Kamala doing a gaggle, a solidified debate, and Kamala saying that she may do an interview before the end of the month, which is before Labor Day. The pressure campaign is working. Keep doing it. Get this woman off the teleprompter. That's the key to winning.
So talking to Harold Ford Jr., and Harold Ford Jr., bless his heart, and I shouldn't even say that because I'm not from the South, but bless his heart, because he said, Kayleigh, they like that this thing's working. They think Hayden-Harris works. They think Hayden-Harris is going to win. And they don't care, the Democrats, that she's not talking to press or not talking to anybody. They think this is going to be their ticket to the White House.
Yeah, bingo. I was listening, and I listened to a left-wing commentator say, she's doing so well. She's bringing in so much money. She was thrown into a presidential campaign. Look at what she's done. Well, ask yourself, what has she done? She stood on the stage 5 times, delivered the same 17-minute speech off a teleprompter 5 times. That's all she's done. The same words. I know Donald Trump's type. The same words. I can recite them from my couch at this point. That's all she's done. They're counting on a 17-minute stump speech to take her to Pennsylvania Avenue. Give me a break. The American people deserve better, but Democrats love it. You're right.
Yeah, I mean, they love it, but we're not hiring an actress to be president where you just put,
exactly,
a script in front of her. And you ever hear the people in Hollywood that speak without scripts? Exactly. And we got to test this woman. She has to be tested before she becomes commander in chief, or else it's not a democracy. And I can say that because I actually know what it is. Kayleigh, good to be with you.
Good to be here. Thanks, Jesse.
Kamala was asked about doing 3 debates, not once, but twice today. NBC's Shaquille Brewster caught up with her this afternoon. Watch this.
Madam Vice President, Donald Trump agreed to 3 debates. Will you be participating in all 3?
I've always been on record. I am looking forward to debating Donald Trump, and we have a date of September 10th. I hear he's finally committed to it, and I'm looking forward.
What about the other 2?
Let's make sure we get this photo of everyone. Look right here, right there.
What about the other 2? That's not a yes. Trump senior advisor Jason Miller is here. I know you're involved in these negotiations with the Harris team and the networks.
All right, I'm going to leave it there. She's not going to take the other 2, or hopefully somebody pushes her to do it. We don't know. Her team, somebody got to say it. I think it also depends how bad things look after she speaks on camera. But my name is Noel, Better Than Your Mess, and I'll be right back. I'm going to go upstairs and take a look.
It sounds like she's only committed to 1. What's going on?
Well, President Trump is committed to 3 debates now. We have September 4th, that we'll be doing with Fox. September 10th, we'll be doing with ABC. And now September 25th with NBC. And so what
I wonder if she doesn't show up, he could show up by himself. and it'll be him and the media talking.
President Trump has done today with this press conference, he has now put Kamala Harris on defense on debates. Kamala Harris was saying, show up, say it to my face. Well, guess what? Now you have 3 opportunities for us to go head to head. And Jesse, as we take a step back for a moment, we look at today's press conference, I think it was the most amazing and consequential campaign press conference I've ever seen. I'm gonna tell you why. Normally in campaigns, I've been doing this a long time, a lot of gray hair. Normally in campaigns, you know, things such as debates, conventions, campaign kickoffs, those are all things that we know that are going to happen. But it's these in-between moments, these unscripted moments that really can set the tone. So President Trump, by standing there for an hour, making Kamala Harris look like someone who wants to avoid the press, won't do any debates, now Kamala Harris has to commit to getting out there and speaking to the press. And when Kamala Harris starts speaking, bad things happen.
Jason, I don't think the public understands how hard it is to speak to a hostile media for over an hour and not make a mistake. There was nothing after this press conference that got picked up and went viral by the mainstream media that they were like, gotcha, he said this, he said that, in a negative news cycle. It was flawless. It was a flawless performance, and the level of difficulty is here. When you see Harris get down those stairs onto the tarmac, that was about maybe 90 seconds. She took 4 or 5 questions, just rushed to the next one because she didn't have much to say. Will she ever do a press conference, or is that just too deadly?
Well, I think her handlers know that she has a real problem with speaking. And so now the energy has completely shifted. The Kamala coronation that the mainstream media is doing is definitely coming to an end now. Great day overall for President Trump. Rasmussen numbers have him up 5 points. This thing's a real race.
All right, here we go. Going into August and into the first debate on Fox, we believe, if she agrees. Thanks, Jason.
All right. With that said, my name is Noel, battling a mess. Here at Verbal on Life, we got to be verbal. We got to put it out there. Hopefully you enjoyed the content. And remember to give it a like before you go. Peace.
Verbal on Life.